Good evening. Peace to all the human families on the planet Earth. My name, I go by many, but here you know me as Oktane. And this is Oktane Minutes Podcast, a podcast about music, a podcast about subtle, slight philosophies that we tend to go through from day to day, and I might have a little philosophy cooked up in the pot for you so you don't go along in this life solo dolo, right? You want to make sure you got the hot shit for the real logic. And tonight, as we always cover, we go through seasons and we go through reasons, and we are covering the album White Tiger Wars, the White Tiger Wars, released on my label, Saba Sun Media, featuring, all produced by me, by the way, featuring Santino Unique, Abno, DJ KGB, MC Gravity, and the new 93, with 16 tracks of hip-hop perfection. And for those of you in digital visual world, you see it's got a tiger stamp, and if the tiger ain't on the seal, you know what it is. You know what it ain't. It ain't official. So there it goes. The White Tiger Wars is out now. Song we're covering, it will be Nemesis, so you'll hear the Nemesis background. And also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube world, because that's what we do. That's what we do in this culture. We like, share, and subscribe. Bunch of things, man, coming up. The year is 2025. It is the beginning. It is January. It is a springy year. January 12th, to be exact. Right? January 12th, to be exact. And what we are dealing with is the eventual destruction. I mean, for the most part, it's a slick way of seeing the destruction of free speech, as TikTok and many TikTok followers will be losing accounts, and TikTok will lose an American audience due to a government ruling. I think that it's bad, big technocracy. I understand where they say it might be an issue for national security, but at the same time, they don't ban Huawei phones. You can still own and utilize Huawei cell phones. You can still, I mean, Huawei has whole internet networks, and then they worried about an app that a bunch of adults that do dumb skits. It used to be something for the kids, and then the adults got on there and started spreading the news. Very peculiar. And you see other parts of big tech, Meta, the previous TikTok, it was owned by ByteDance, and ByteDance is not even a Chinese-owned company. ByteDance is a Singaporean company, From the information that I was given, that it's not even Chinese-owned, which is slightly weird. And then you see Meta deciding that they want to drop the reins on the type of content that you can put on, or they're not going to censor speech, and so I guess they're not going to have any fact checkers come through and tell you what ain't real and what ain't. But to quote the brother Tariq Nasheed, he says that's just an open lane to utilize racial slurs, to say the least. He goes, don't get too twisted on anything else. You still can't say what you want about who you want, if you know what I mean. He says it's just an open lane to talk about certain people, but not certain people. Very interesting. And leading up to the inauguration, which is like 10 days, 9 days from now, we don't know if Mr. Trump who was still convicted as a felon will not see jail time. Well, I would like to see this, man. I mean, if he's gonna still have the felon jacket on him in the presidency in the White House, then there needs to be a lot of young men and young women who have small-time petty felonies and are denied jobs and denied housing and denied schooling for minor drug offenses, graffiti, fighting, underage drinking, you know, small quantities of drugs, drug use. Those kids, all those kids that have become adults and adults with their livelihood stolen, need to have that second chance back if Mr. Trump is to go on with the felony jacket put upon his body, put upon his persona. Because there's no precedent, as Antonio Bustamante said, there is no precedent as to how to go about incarcerating a former U.S. president, you know? I mean, because they should have. I mean, because if they was going to lock up Trump, then they should have went back and they have to lock up Clinton. That's the only other president who had some major trouble in his life, and they have to incarcerate him. Then there's some other legal things. You know, they might have to look back into Obama's case about the Senate seat being sold and Blagojevich getting the heat for that and doing almost 8 years in federal prison in Colorado for that. Right? That's very interesting. Kwame Kilpatrick needs, you know, the brother in Detroit. So, yeah, a lot of our leaders, or a lot of our captains of industry need to look at these people like, well, okay, well, the president could be a president and a felon. Then that means that the common folk like you and I should be able to have certain felonies overlooked. Listen, if you're a diddler, diddlers don't get no play over here. But, you know, like I said, you do dumb shit as a kid. You smoke a little something. You drink a little something. You do graffiti. I know graffiti heads who have got heavy felonies, you know, on them. You know, they got felony charges for doing graffiti on an old beat-up abandoned building. You know, vandalism. That shouldn't even be damn a felony. That should be a fine smack on the wrist and community service. You know, I mean, you get caught spray painting a wall. Art is not a crime, brother. But putting art where you're not supposed to, I understand. But yeah, I mean, that really should just be community service and a smack on the wrist. And you're made to go around for every so many hours scrubbing and buffing graffiti off, you know. It's crazy, you know. Or like, you know, you got these kids who get felonies. They have to be in the streets because their mother doesn't do anything that she takes to keep them out of trouble, but these kids have to have a gun to protect themselves. You can't tell these kids to get out of gangs when they live in the environment, and when it's up to the parents to get them out of the environment. You know, kids, if you're under 18, you can't pick up your household and go across go to another state, go across town to the better side of town where beef is not stewing up. You know, kids get caught with guns and be facing all sorts of crazy ass felonies, man. I mean, yeah. You got to come off that. You know what I'm saying? If Trump get to have the heat, then we get to have the law let felons work and thrive, right? I believe that like I said, people make bad mistakes. Make mistakes, not bad ones, you know. Like I said, if you murdered a bunch of people, if you were involved in a mass murder, you should be locked up forever and locked in a asylum somewhere. If you are a rapist, you should be locked away. If you are a diddler of the babies, you should be locked away. So Excuse me one momento. If I can find, I have a dire thing. Excuse me. Hopefully, I'm fast. But I'll put that on. Technical difficulties. All right, we're back. I'm just gonna hold this thing because I'm plugged in. But depending on how much time we lost, yeah, not that much. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the song Nemesis kind of fits right into that mold of the genre of things because yeah, it's about American grit and it's about being a criminal who takes no shit off of nobody and makes sure he is the ruler of the roost. So it's got and I produced everything on this album. I'm looking at my time, so if I go dark, you see me checking my recording time. Anyway, so it's about a criminal who rules the roost because it's a fictional character. It's a story about an old gangster, the precursor to another album coming in the future called The Silver Fox Caesar, and I think you're gonna love that. Just like you love this one. This was recorded. Silver Fox Caesar was recorded maybe a year and a half before I recorded this one, and I recorded the White Tiger Wars, just off the strength that yeah, just off the strength that I could whatchamacallit, yeah, just off the strength that I just wanted to do some type of precursor to Silver Fox Caesar. But then again, you know what I'm saying, just because of my new production path, I don't know. I might just make Silver Fox Caesar. I don't know. I might remake it. I don't know. I probably won't. I'm lying to myself. I'm not gonna be. I made recorded 2 albums over the holidays. So I recorded one for the Grand Hova, which is called World Leaders. Me and Grand Hova are the world leaders. And we have one called The Olympics is Falling. That's coming out soon. And I'm still waiting on a few little minor details, and we're gonna get it back in there. And then let me think what else I have left. And just maybe one little touch here on Earth Alchemist, and those albums will be ready to go. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm burping. I was eating some toast. But yeah, man, it's gonna be an exciting year. We're gonna be dropping some heavy stuff on you, man. Saba-san is well on its way. With some cool music, man. Cool music. And I just sent some stuff to my brother Showtime Dollars, and those of you in the wrestling world know him as Suicidal Soldier. And I felt like that duo pairing would probably be great for our audience. We're going to move. I know we're going to move a lot of units because he can rap his ass off, if you know what I mean. He's got some skills. He's got a flavor to him. But all in all, because we are not wanting to go long, and we're already deep in this, and I don't go no further than 15 minutes on these things. I would like to send a shout out to all of the Saba-san family, and I'm gonna call up the list because if I have the list and I'm looking at it, I know I'm an old man. Not really. I'm just out of shape. I'm not an old man. I'm just out of shape. If I have the list, I don't forget nobody, and I don't want to be digging and stewing my brain around. So we get right to the point and shout out everybody inside of the chat the chat of creatives and collaborators on which I frequently like to collaborate with. I don't collaborate outside of my group chat. I mean, there's a few guys out there that I will collaborate with, so I'll send a couple shots. One, I'm gonna send a shout out to my placebo because I always will collaborate with him in some capacity. The brother's nice. He's got a YouTube channel called Speak Your Clout, and he's also reviews a CD collection, and he's got a massive CD collection Mon Placebo has. And if you are a hip hop fan and you like hip hop history, he will give you everything, the historical behind the scenes on every, he got the inside scoop on how CDs were made. So be sure to, I'm going to go ahead and start adding his YouTube channel tethered on to my channel, hook it up to my channel. That's not a word I want to use, but I'll link him to my shit, just because the brother is really good, and you'll like his shit, man. Send a shout out to my brother Abno out of Detroit, and I want to send a shout out to another brother I need to reach out. I hadn't had a song with him in a minute. His name was Mike Familiar out of New York, and he is something nice on the mic. He got some heavy skill. Really dark disposition he's got in his music, which I like in his motif. So, to the Saba Sun crew, the internal clique, shout out to Showtime Dollars. Shout out to my brother Sunsburn, a.k.a. Born Fifth Child. Shout out to the War God A-Preem, Allah Born Supreme. Shout out to my brother, which is another guy I will link on, I'll tether on to the site, and you can follow him, Black Viking Films. He's a filmmaker, aka Live, Lyve, out of Missouri. Also lives in my local area. Shout out to Brad Wilson out of Jacksonville. Shout out to Atreyu 850. Shout out to Grizzly Savage. Shout out to Corey Chavis of Dark City Fight Club. Shout out to Prana Self, aka MC Gravity out of Jacksonville. Shout out to Tommy Jr., aka the new 93, aka Tommy the Gun. Shout out to Tony the Goon. Shout out to Guillotine DSC of the Guillotine Regime. Much love to all you brothers and my collaborators. Hopefully we will all get together and make a Saba Sun album, and it'll be great. So without further ado, we are going to give you the nemesis, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you cats later on the flip side while I'm sitting on Chrome. Peace to the gods.